right, so we're in Selma, Tennessee, which is West Tennessee. We're about 2 hours from Memphis and about 3 hours from Nashville. So we're kind of right in the middle there and about 25 minutes from the Mississippi border. Roski Farms, we're about 1 acre, and we grow a lot of lettuce, mixed greens. We do a lot of baby root crops, the radishes, carrots, beets, turnips. We're doing, some microgreens. We do a lot of cucumbers and tomatoes in the summertime. A lot of the bunching greens, kale, collards, chard, all that stuff. So anything that will go in a salad. So what really got us into farming was we did a small garden in 2009, and our oldest daughter was 6 months at the time, and we worked together in the garden. It was a disaster, weeds up to here, but something about being connected to the earth, something ancient and just spiritual about it that we just, as a family, we have to do this for a living. And from that summer, it was almost like a calling, like we were just drawn of like, this is the next thing for us as a family. And my wife and I together very strongly went, this is the direction we feel like we're supposed to go into. How do we do it? And that was the big question. We knew why and what we wanted to do, but how? That was a big question for us. It was about our 5th year of farming. And at that time, we were doing just thousands of chickens and all the just pigs and just animals, 2 acres of vegetables, and things were just going wide open. And spring of 2015, my wife took our daughter to the doctor, came back, and she was like, our daughter has stage 4 cancer, and it completely changed our life. And when I look back on it now, or even that year, I realized that farming took over my life, and I had no life for my wife, for my children. I was more consumed with the farm as I was with my previous job when I was driving 4 hours one way. And so I had to really take a look down in my heart and then find out, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I really, at the end of the day, when we're on our deathbed, having a big house and profitable businesses mean absolutely nothing. It's the meaningful life that we lived and the people that are around us that love us and whom we love as well. And so I realized that I was creating a world. It was this thing that was a life around things in this business rather than a life around my family and people, friends that I loved and who loved me. And I had to really take a hard look at what we were doing and why. And, and kind of back to, watching your daughter suffer and struggle is hard for any parent. But I think what was even harder for me is realizing how I was living my life. Really, it broke my heart, because I realized that if she were to leave, which, God gives and takes away, and then she could be gone tomorrow. What really broke my heart more was the lack of time I was giving her. And that really smote me. And so I had to just, again, I took a really hard look at everything I was doing, and my wife and I really talked a lot about how are we going to change? Because even in all the chaos and all that stuff, we weren't having a lot of fun farming. It was a disaster. It was just so much chaos. So many things were out of control. We were doing way too much. And so, I really hate to say it, but with her getting sick really was the best thing that happened, because it really brought everything back. And I was able to kind of step back and look at everything with a completely different perspective. Rather than a business perspective, it was more about what is the best thing for my family. We went from 2 acres to just 1 acre. I got rid of all the animals, and we went to just an 8-hour day, and we were very strict about it. And it was pretty incredible the next year, because making all those changes, and it wasn't what we added, it was what we took away. And then we put time constraints on our life, and we adapted. You know, we humans can adapt pretty fast. And so that things shifted drastically. Not only were we more profitable, but we had more time. And that's what we were longing for. We didn't realize it. But now looking back at that change, what that whole story kind of did for our family was we built our farm and our life to give us time to be together as a family, which is that's what it's all about, is time. You know, we can make more money. You can buy more houses, you can buy more cars, but you can't get more time. So our markets are pretty diverse. So we have restaurants, we have farmers markets, we have an online store where people can order online. We deliver to different locations. We have CSAs different times of the year. We also do some food hubs. We have some other larger wholesale accounts. We also do grocery stores as well, which is growing. So basically, anybody and anywhere that will buy, we will sell to. So a typical day on the farm is, we start early because it's pretty hot, especially in the summertime. And so we're typically harvesting every morning. And then there's a morning or two where we'll actually get in there and transplant, crops, because you've got to get them in the ground before it gets too hot. So all that's getting done first. And then we go to, bed prep. We're doing just miscellaneous chores, cleaning up, anything that can, maybe, we'll do some obviously harvest and post-harvest deliveries, whatever needs to be done in that day. But that's a typical day. So to kind of recap, we're harvesting the first thing, we're planting early in the morning, and then we're flipping beds, we're planting, we're seeding, we're packing, whatever else needs to be done. My family's involvement has changed over the years. We started the farm when we had a 6-month-old, and now we have 6. So, and we homeschool, so that changes. But currently right now, my wife manages and operates the pack shed. So she's there, Monday and Tuesday. It's our big pack harvest days. And then she does the books. With my children, they're a bigger help in the packs where they can pack clamshells and bags. And as they get older, the more money they want to make, they're doing more field work. But that's their basic involvement. One thing is that they're really helpful in is like when we're harvest tomatoes, they can go collect the ripe tomatoes and bring them to me. I'll put them in the little basket and we'll go weigh them. Or if I'm harvesting lettuce, they can bring me totes and tote lids, whatever the case. They really enjoy being with me. And not every job is a child-friendly job. Some of it is not enjoyable for children, but any jobs like harvesting, they really, really enjoy. One of the greatest joys that I see, especially now, looking on my porch at the fields, and my daughter, who is 10 now, fixing to be 11, and she's healthy and alive, completely cancer-free. And when I see the change of the farm, I go, it was because of her that led to this change. And it's just beautiful, and I just thank God every single day for the gift. I would say one of the most translatable tools that we got with our transition was the greens harvester. That, we used to harvest greens with a knife, and once we got that tool, it was game over. It really helped us enable to increase our production rapidly. The other tool that has really transformed our farm is, I guess you could call it a tool, would be the tarps. The ability to prep beds and tarp them for a certain period of time has really helped our weeds. The third thing I would say would be landscape fabric. Completely transformed our farm 3 or 4 years ago, and it's been a huge help in saving us time. So with the greens harvester, what that enabled us to do is, instead of harvesting 10 pounds an hour, we can now harvest hundreds. And so it changed the game and by enabling us to offer large quantities of mixed greens at a competitive price. And that has allowed us to enter into markets that before we weren't able to even think about entering into. So before we got the greens harvester, we would do maybe 25 pounds of greens an hour because of all the weeds and just it was so slow. And when we got that greens harvester, it enabled us to do literally hundreds and hundreds of pounds of greens within an hour, very clean, very efficiently. And it completely changed everything for us. By implementing tarps in our production for greens, allowed us to grow greens completely weed-free, which cut down a lot of hours and a lot of pain, and really made that whole system very efficient for us. One of the most favorite things that I really love is getting up early in the morning and going out and seeing what new growth is out there, or something new, like something is always changing on the farm. You know, we grow all 4 seasons, and I really value my early mornings. It's time I can be quiet, and I like to be by myself, and often I will walk out there alone. And that time, you know, in the farm is really precious. And I just love seeing the new life, new soil. I love seeing the new earthworms coming up. I really enjoy that. One thing about the farm that I really enjoy and like, especially since our change, it's very family friendly. And so before I was on tractors, and so I was always cautious of my little ones. Now they can be with me. And even if they're trampling through the lettuce, I just like the freedom that it gives my family to kind of be around. You know, living on the farm has enabled me also to share every meal with my family. And that's one thing I wasn't doing before. I was missing a lot of meals, a lot of time. And I just love the fact that, you know, lunchtime I can come right there. We get off early, so I'm there for supper. And I really value mealtime with the family. And the farm gives me that. Gratitude. Just gratitude. I feel like, you know, there's enough suffering in life. Everyone suffers, and we all, you know, life is often difficult and filled with chaos. And we by no means, you know, we have 6 children, so there's plenty of chaos to go around. But at the end of the day, I have a complete sense of gratitude for, you know, what we have, what we've been given, you know, the responsibilities that we have, what we get to see and experience. I just have a complete overall sense of just gratitude. Number one, my family inspires me. You know, they're the ones that inspire me to get up every day and do what I do. If I didn't have them, I probably would not have the motivation or the inspiration. You know, seeing their joy when I bring home the first tomato inspires me to do it every year. The second thing that inspires me is seeing the earth and the soil change. Seeing that change and also realizing how little I know and how much there is to learn and explore and how much change that needs to happen. That is as deep, just deep as I want to go. And that is very inspirational, and it's very motivating. Keeps me very humble. Because, you know, when I think I know something, the earth and the ground lets me know how little I know. And that is, you know, realizing how small you are in the big scheme of things is humbling and very inspirational. And so one of the things I love about farming, in particular as occupation, is the deep mysteries that the land and the earth has. And the fact that we get to tend the earth and massage the ground so it can grow things in a climate or time of the year that could be difficult is it's a lot of fun. So I would say anybody who gardens and who is looking at possibly farming full time, I would say, farming can be, it's very rewarding, but it can also be difficult at times. And I would say if you can, find a mentor. Find someone who's willing to help you avoid any of your first few years of mistakes that they had made. I just can't say enough the importance of mentors, and getting help from those who are willing to help you is really, really important. One of the things that we changed when our whole daughter got sick was the way we ate. And even though we were farmers, there's the saying in the small circle of farming communities that farmers are one of the worst eaters there is, because we're such in a hurry. And we're just eating out all the time. And, you would think we're healthy eaters, but we're really not. So that, when my daughter went down with cancer, it was a wake-up call how we were eating. And we changed our diet. We ate a lot more healthier, tremendous amount of veggies. And what it did to our bodies was just transform. What it did to my daughter, to myself, my wife. And I would say, even if you're not a gardener or you're not a farmer, think about what you're putting in your body, because it matters. And I can just say from firsthand experience that really paying attention to what you put in your body it's really important. It really doesn't matter what kind of farmer you are, but the land needs to be tended. We need people growing good, healthy vegetables and fruits for as many people as we can. And I would just love to see more small-scale farmers throughout, small communities, growing healthy, good vegetables. And, many, many years ago, we were a agriculture, community society culture. And I think we've lost some of that. I see a lot of that coming back, which is incredibly exciting. And so nothing is more exciting to me than to see beginning farmers doing well, growing good produce, feeding their families, feeding their communities, and making the earth a better place in the way they found it.